Still, we're chatting with James Carville, his lovely bride, Mary Madeline.
She wants the toy.
And he will be on stage together for a wonderful event coming up on Halloween night. We're less than a week away. Concordia College, Moorhead, Minnesota, on stage, 7 o'clock. Free and open to the public, by the way, so hope you'll be there. Mary's going to join us tomorrow, give us her take on the political scene. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your famous comments that caught quite a lot of attention when shortly after the special elections in New York and Nevada, you had some advice for the White House, and that was to panic and to fire somebody. First of all, did you get any reaction from the president himself about that or any of his top officials as far as your comments? Because it caused quite a stir.
Well, I didn't. No, obviously, I didn't hear from the president himself, but I got the word. The word was, wasn't very appreciated, but I understood that when I wrote it. And my point is look, there's got to be like it's not going well. Maybe everybody's working hard and doing a great job, but the only way that you signal to people that you're changing things or you're dissatisfied is you fire somebody. That's the way the world works. And everybody was saying, oh, well, you lose this election, it doesn't mean anything. You lose that. Well, no, the accumulation of things probably has some meaning in it, and that was the point I was trying to make.
They did not heed your advice on firing anybody. They have taken some of your advice on, going out there with sort of making a case like a Democrat. The whole class warfare thing, and even though it has very little chance politically, even Democrats voting against their jobs plan, pushing it, and going out there. So they've taken some of your advice. But what gets better between now and Election Day for Barack Obama? Do you believe?
Right. I think there were 2 Democrats that voted against it. So it was kind of 51-2. But anyway, look, this is an election that is going to be very difficult for an incumbent president to win. Having said that, I don't know how much more the Republicans could do to try to give it to him than they're doing. So we'll have to wait and see.
Let's talk about the Republicans in a minute. So today's advice, is it still panic? Do they still need to panic and fire somebody and shake things up on the Obama side?
I think that the current trends, if you look at across the board, that they're going to need to see 2 things going to have to happen if the president win re-election. Well, 3, and 1 is Republicans have to continue. There's 2, and it may be that we're seeing that he can point to some sort of economic improvement, and 3 that he's charting a different direction. I guess to some extent he's starting that. I think he's got to be clear that there's going to be sort of new people in place in his second term if he's reelected. I do.
So he's still got to fire some folks.
I think he will. I don't know that, but we've still got a ways to go here. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some different players come the first of the year. It's not like people are saying it. It has nothing to do with it's an economic thing that is causing this kind of thing, and it was and some of these guys have they might have done a great job in saving the economy. They might have done a great job. You got to freshen it up. It's not everybody. You're talking about not talking about like the chief of staff or something like that. I'm talking about economic people.
And yet, not a lot of economic folks that are household names that would make the headlines with the New York Times or the Washington Post. If you were president, you're in Obama's position. Who do you fire? Tim Geithner?
Well, you know what? I'm not in Obama's position. I think it's got to send a signal that hey, look, these guys did a good job of preventing a financial collapse, but we're on a new page here, and we're going to try some fresh things. I think and I'll leave it at that.
Let's talk a little bit about the Republican field. You've said that they're pathetic. You said actually that they couldn't be doing a better job to give it to him. Who if you had to strategize and say who's the candidate I'd most fear? Who do you think in this field would be the toughest for Obama to beat?
Well, it doesn't matter because Romney is going to win it. Perry. Look, first of all, I kind of let me give my bias here. I want a big Republican race for any number of reasons. The divisive primary is never any good, but at some point, I'm a cable TV commentator. I write from time to time. I want to see people play the game that can play the game. Perry's embarrassing. The guy can't speak. He can't debate. He can't answer questions. He can't go on interview shows. He can't do anything. I mean, come on, man, do something. And now he's with this goofy Bertha nonsense. What's he? I mean, even like Karl Rove, where's this coming from? And you got people like Joe Scarborough, like, openly mocking the field. I mean, if I were, and I'm not, but if I were a proud, principled conservative, I would be humiliated by this field. I really would.
Well, as far as the most,
there's no one that's in you guys' case out there.
Obviously, Herman Cain's faring pretty well right now in the polls, and has all along, quite honestly, had the most passionate supporters in this field. A non-politician, which has probably served him well, just as an example of the frustration of the conservative Republican electorate out there. What do you think of Herman Cain?
Herman Cain is not going to be the president of anything. And Herman Cain goes out and he got a 999 and then it's 909 and he's like changing area codes. The guy can't even figure out what his position on abortion is, which is sort of a basic issue. I mean, he gleefully professes ignorance on foreign policy. I mean, again, I'm not, but if I were a person, if I had a conservative worldview and I was looking for this election to have somebody to articulate that view, I would be unbelievably disappointed. Herman Cain is a salesman. I mean, he's not trying in one sense. He's just trying to get some attention. He's not going to get the nomination. He's articulate. He makes a good point about self-reliance and and what you can do, and that's about it. That doesn't constitute a rationale for electing a president. That constitutes a rationale for having a motivational speaker at a company retreat.
We only have a minute left, but I want to get your take. You think Mitt Romney's going to be the nominee? Why does Mitt Romney not worry you as an opponent to Barack Obama?
Well, look, anybody worries me in this environment. I like what Ross Dohart, I might be pronouncing his name, said. What he said about Romney was, he quoted Shakespeare to Watson, when you've excluded the impossible, all you're left with is the improbable. And that's where you are with Romney. But Romney's not the conservatives don't trust Romney with good reason. He's not one of them. Not really even making that case. He's making a kind of technocrat, competence kind of case. That's not.
But that should worry you in a general election, shouldn't it?
Well, it does. Let me repeat. Everything worries me in this environment. Nobody has gotten elected with these kinds of numbers. So I'm worried in a general election. I profoundly admit that. But again, there's nobody making. Romney's just making a technocratic kind of competence argument, and he's really kind of a windsock of a guy. If you don't like his position on something, give it a day, he'll change it.
All right, I can tell already we're going to have a blast Monday night. James Carville, former campaign manager, top advisor to Bill Clinton, Democratic strategist, cable TV author. He's done it all, and he and his wife, Mary Madeline, will be in Moorhead, Concordia College Centrum, Knutson Campus Center. 7 o'clock, free and open to the public Monday night. James, we'll see you then. Take care, sir.